Hi, my name is Miss Allie and welcome to First Chapter Friday. Today we are going to be looking at a book called You Go First, which is written by Erin Entrada Kelly. This book follows two characters, Charlotte and Ben, and while their lives may seem vastly different on the surface, it goes to show just how similar their lives really are. While Charlotte lives in Pennsylvania and Ben in Louisiana, they are both highly gifted students and they are both currently going through some family turmoil. And these two are connected through an online Scrabble game, so they can connect. They kind of share some of their thoughts and feelings, and it's just how they make it from one day to the next. So with that, let's get started. All right, Monday. Equilibrium, noun, a state of balance. Chapter 1, Girl with a Soda. Rabbit hole. Rabbits sometimes dig holes for protection. Once the hole is there, they can crawl inside and hide. Other rabbit holes may lead to vast underground mazes known as warrens, which is where the rabbits live. Warren also describes a densely populated building. 12-year-old Charlotte Lockard balanced an unopened Dr. Pepper upright on her hand and thought, "This is what it feels like to hold my dad's heart." She'd read online that the heart weighed about 12 ounces, same as the Dr. Pepper. She was firmly rooted in the glow of a Crozer Hospital vending machine until a woman with tired eyes and gray hair said, "Excuse me." Charlotte mumbled a half apology and hurried back to the waiting room, where her mother sniffled into tissues and blamed it on allergies. Normally, her mother wouldn't let her drink Dr. Pepper, but these weren't normal times. 2 hours earlier, Charlotte had been in life sciences. A knock landed on Ms. Schneider's door as Charlotte chewed the end of her pencil and stared at the discussion topic on her paper. There are about 1,500 species of starfish. They live primarily in the intertidal zone, which is also known as the littoral zone for foreshore. Organisms along the intertidal zone are uniquely adept at surviving in harsh environments. Describe some characteristics of the intertidal zone versus the peritidal zone. Charlotte had just finished writing. The intertidal zone is the area between the tides, i.e., it exists above water at low tide and below water at high tide, which differs from the peritidal zone, a wider area that extends from above the highest tide level to below the lowest tide level. When Ms. Schneider called her name, Ms. Schneider, tall and lean, stood next to Ms. Cattry, the school counselor, who was short and round. They were opposite side by side. Compare and contrast. And they were both frowning. "Did something happen to my dad?" Charlotte asked, without getting up from her seat. She felt the other kid's eyes on her. That's when she decided she should probably stand up and follow Mrs. Cattry out the door, where she discovered the answer was yes. He'd had a heart attack and crashed the car in front of Old Navy before being brought to Crozer Hospital for emergency surgery. And now she was here, drinking forbidden soda and watching her mother read Us Weekly, which is something her mother would never read in real life. But Charlotte knew she wasn't really reading it because her reading glasses were perched on her head. "Eyesight is the first thing to go after 50, her mother always said. And Charlotte knew why. The lens of the eye hardened over time and made it difficult to focus, something Charlotte learned after she crawled into a rabbit hole. That's what her dad called it when she got swept up researching useless information online. "You've crawled into your rabbit hole again," he would say. Charlotte sipped her soda. She stared at the waiting room sign and thought, if you unshuffle and rearrange some of the letters of waiting room, you get migration, which is kind of the opposite of waiting. It was a good word scramble, all things considered, because her father loved birds. He'd joined a birding club after he retired from teaching art history at Swarthmore College last year. Sometimes he veered off the sidewalk and when he walked because he was too busy looking up. If there weren't any birds, he'd look at leaves instead. "Look at the shape of this one, Charlotte," he would say, a leaf in the center of his palm. "See how the lines branch off here? And see the fringe on the outside? Beautiful, isn't it? Art." And Charlotte would nod because she just wanted to get wherever they were going. Flip, flip, flip. The sound of her mother with the magazine crawled under Charlotte's skin. Charlotte's mother was a statistician and usually hovered over information like a hawk, but she turned the pages so quickly that it was obvious she wasn't reading a word. She just needed to be busy. "Did you tell Bridget what happened?" her mother asked. Yes. Bridget was her best friend. Of course she'd told her. Charlotte slid down in her chair and stared at a discarded straw on the floor. How long until Dad gets out of surgery? Charlotte asked. I don't know. Her mother glanced at the clock on the wall. Soon, I hope. Charlotte was prepared for anything. Last year, when her father got a stent in his heart, she went down a rabbit hole and spent 2 hours watching open heart surgeries and transplants. She knew what was happening with her dad at this very moment. He was hooked up to a heart-lung bypass machine. They'd probably already stopped his heart so they could operate on it. Charlotte finished her soda in big gulps and went to the bathroom. Anything to get away from the flip, flip, flip. Did you wash your hands? Her mother asked when she got back. There are a million germs floating around hospitals. Charlotte didn't answer. She secretly rolled her eyes instead, as if she didn't know about Acinetobacter baumannii, a bacteria that teemed on bed rails, supply carts, and floors. As if she didn't know that this species of bacteria could survive for long periods of time and was found in nearly half of all hospital rooms. As if she wasn't aware that it was an opportunistic parasite that preyed on people with weakened immune systems. Will we be able to see him when he's in recovery? Charlotte asked. If all goes well. The doctor said you have to be at least 12 to visit recovery in ICU. You lucked out. Charlotte looked for the straw again, but it wasn't there. Did someone pick it up while she was in the restroom? She focused on the carpet instead. Did you know starfish have hearts too? She said. A human heart can beat 100 times a minute, but a starfish's heart only beats 6 times. Her mother paused. I didn't know that. About starfish, I mean. They're technically called sea stars, but everyone calls them starfish. We're dissecting one in life sciences soon. Flip, flip, flip. The carpet had a hexagon pattern. The sum of the interior angles of any hexagon was 720 degrees. Charlotte stared and stared at those interior angles until they barely existed anymore. And that is the end of chapter 1. I hope you've enjoyed this peek into You Go First by Erin Entrada Kelly. You can check it out at the Racine Public Library or on Libby, our ebook app. And we hope to see you again soon.